Did you know that the samurai never considered death on the battlefield something terrible, and someday even searched for it? Why this honor was more important than life for these warriors of the samurai, like a military class, began to form in Japan in the Heian era, 794 to 1185. During this period, the central government was in the capital of Heian-ko, modern Kyoto, and faced the need to protect land from robbers and rebels in remote provinces. In early times, the imperial power entrusted the protection of the provinces of the aristocracy. However, at that time, local landowners began to hire their own detachments of armed people to protect their owners. These fighters, as unusual as Bushi wars, laid the foundation for the estate of samurai. In the 9th to 10th centuries, the offensive is the decline of the central government. The aristocracy was increasingly dependent on the help of armed clans in the provinces. As a result, these clans began to strengthen, turning into an independent war capable of not only encrypting their organizations, but also claim a greater influence. Powerful samurai clans, such as Taira and Minamoto, have grown from them. The call of the samurai comes from the word saburao, which means serve. The samurai of the structure served as a court nobility, but over time their role expanded. The military, such as the conflict of Taira and Minamoto, 1180 to 1185, the manifestation of the growing power of samurai. The victory of the Minamoto clan in the Genpei War led to the creation of the first samurai government, the shogunate of Kamakura. This was fixed by the samurai as the correct estate of Japan's samurai were known for their strict discipline and loyalty to their masters. They became more than just soldiers, they were a cultural elite, combining martial arts with philosophy, poetry, and art. Samurai emerged as a response to the need to protect lands in the face of weakening imperial power. Their path began with simple warriors, but by the 12th century they had become the political and military system of Japan. The Bushido Code Bushido translates as the way of the warrior. It is an unspoken code of conduct that guided the samurai. Bushido was formed by the 17th century, but its foundations began to spread as early as the period of the warring provinces, Sengoku. The main principles of Bushido combine the ideals of honor, discipline, and morality, based to varying degrees on Confucian, Buddhist, and Shinto traditions. The main principles include 1. Honor meo. For a samurai, honor was important in life. He was ready to sacrifice everything just to preserve his reputation and good name. 2. Loyalty chugi. A samurai must be completely devoted to his lord, daimyo. This loyalty was above friends and even his own family life. 3. Courage. No fear of death. A samurai must act bravely, regardless of the dangers. 4. Mercy. A samurai was obliged to provide compassion to the weak and protected technologies that cannot stand up for themselves. 5. Honesty and sincerity. Makoto. A samurai's words were considered equivalent to his actions. He could not afford to deceive or break his promises. 6. Self-control. Jisei. A samurai was obliged to control his emotions, be restrained and cool in any situation. 7. Duty and justice. Gi. Every act of a samurai had to be just and in accordance with his duty. Bushido. Death with honor was preferable to life with shame. The ritual of seppuku, harakiri, became a symbol of this philosophy. A samurai voluntarily ended his life to atone for guilt or preserve his honor. During the Edo period, 1603 to 1868, the samurai lost their military role, but the ideals of Bushido continued to develop, acquiring a philosophical and ethical character. Confucianism is grounded in Bushido's emphasis on family values and social duty. The legacy of Bushido in modern times. The principles of Bushido have retained deep traces of Japanese culture. The ideas of discipline, culture, and loyalty are still part of Japan's national identity. In the 20th century, the ideals of Bushido inspired Japanese soldiers and also criticized the militarization of society. Miyamoto Musashi, one of the stylish samurai, wrote in his book, The Book of Five Rings, "A warrior is one who follows the way regardless of circumstances. He is always ready to accept fate, be it victory or defeat." Bushido is not just a set of rules. a philosophy that provides for the entire life of a samurai. It itself made the samurai not only warriors, but also symbols of honor, discipline, and courage. Samurai weapons. Symbols of power and art. Samurai were renowned for their mastery of weapons, which was not only feared but also a part of their spiritual and cultural heritage. Samurai had different types of weapons in their arsenal, each with a special meaning. 1. Katana, the spirit of the samurai. A curved one-handed sword 60 to 80 centimeters long. Made of high-quality steel, using a hardening method. The katana was considered an extension of the samurai's soul. Its behavior and care were sacred rituals. Use. Effective in close combat due to its speed and sharpness. The process of creating a katana could take months. A master blacksmith would perform purification rituals before starting work. 2. Wakizashi, a companion to the katana, a short sword 30 to 60 centimeters long, worn together with the katana. It was used for close combat in confined spaces, as well as for the ritual of seppuku, harakiri. Katana and wakizashi together make the majestic daisho, dashao, which translates as large and small 3. Nodachi, sword for open fields. A long sword exceeding 90 centimeters. It was used in combat on specific terrain, used for battles with horse signals, which results in powerful blows. Nodachi was difficult to carry due to its length and was often carried on the back. 4. Yari, spear, a polearm with a long blade resembling a sword. A universal weapon for close and medium combat. Provided an advantage in striking range over the enemy. Yari was used not only for attack, but also for forming buildings. 5. Naginata, halberd, a long ancient weapon with a curved blade at the end. Effective against infantry and cavalry. Often used by samurai women to protect their homes. Samurai women such as Tomo Guzan were renowned for their skill with the naginata. 6. Tanto, dagger, a short knife up to 30 centimeters long. Used for close combat and ritual purposes. 7. Yumi, bow, an asymmetrical longbow, the upper part of which is longer than the lower. The main weapon in the early stages of samurai history, to show the katana, can be shot at long distances to gain a strategic advantage. Archery was often present in ceremonial rituals. Samurai weapons carried not only a practical function, but also deep symbolism. The katana represented honor, the bow, strategic thinking, the halberd and spears, reflections of strength and skill. This arsenal made the samurai some of the most formidable and respected warriors in history. Samurai training. The path to perfection. Samurai prepared for service from childhood, trusting not only their body but also their spirit. Their training was comprehensive, including martial arts, breaking, philosophy, and art. This was done not only by warriors, but also by the cultural elite of Japan. 1. Training began at the age of 5 to 7. From an early age, boys learned the basics of culture, discipline, and respect for elders. The first skills of learning to use a sword with a vision, bakken, as well as the development of agility and endurance through physical play. 2. Martial arts. Samurai make up many fighting techniques known as bujitsu, military art, kenjutsu, art of the sword training with a sword with a vision, bakken, or a sport katana. The emphasis was on the technique of striking, defense, accuracy, and speed. Duels with comrades led to the development of reaction and strategic thinking. Kyujitsu, the art of archery shooting with an asymmetrical Japanese bow, yumi. Training in various shooting techniques, both at short range and at long range, horse movement, yubusame. 3. Sojitsu, the art of the spear training in the use of a spear, yari, including use, blocks, and the construction of defensive forms. 4. Nagina Tajutsu, the art of the halberd, an effective weapon against cavalry and group attacks. 5. Jiu-jitsu, the art of hand-to-hand combat fighting without weapons or with weapons, including throws, strikes, and grabs. Spiritual and intellectual development. Samurai paid attention not only to physical training, but also to the development of their spirit and intellect. Zen Buddhism meditation to develop inner peace. control emotions, and awareness of one's own mortality, helped samurai maintain composure on the battlefield. Calligraphy and poetry. Learning calligraphy is a common method for cultivating patience and precision. Poetry, especially writing haiku, three-line poems, develops a sense of harmony and beauty. Strategy and tactics. Studying courses such as Sun Tzu's The Art of War and Miyamoto Musashi's The Book of Five Rings, learning how to plan battles and lead troops. Some of Japan's most famous artists and poets were samurai. Famous samurai Miyamoto Musashi, an elegant swordsman of Japan, author of the Book of Five Rings. He fought over 60 duels and never lost a single one. Tomo Samzen, a female murai who became famous in the battles of the 13th century. The decline of the samurai era. In the 19th century, imperial power was restored and the samurai class was abolished. However, the spirit of the samurai remained in Japanese culture. Their principles of honor, discipline, and courage live on to this day. Which samurai story impressed you the most?